Do you have to touch every single lamppost you pass on the street? Do you have a specific, non-negotiable ritual for eating a KitKat that involves a level of precision usually reserved for brain surgery? Or maybe you're the person who can't sleep unless your closet door is shut exactly all the way. We all have the thing, that weird little quirk that makes your friends raise an eyebrow and makes your family say, "Oh, that's just how they are." But here's what's fascinating. Your weird habits aren't just random glitches in your personality. They're actually sophisticated psychological tools your brain uses to navigate the world. So let's get into the why behind our weirdest behaviors. First, we have to talk about cognitive control and anxiety regulation. Modern life is essentially a giant bucket of chaos that we have very little control over. When you perform a weird habit, like organizing your pens in a specific rainbow gradient or tapping a table 3 times before sitting down, you are creating a predictability island. Psychologists call these ritualized behaviors. When the outside world feels uncertain, these small repetitive actions send a signal to your amygdala, the brain's fire alarm, saying, "Look, I can control this one thing. Everything is fine." It's not about the pens or the table, it's about lowering your cortisol levels through a sense of agency. Then there's the proprioceptive input, or what the internet likes to call stimming. If you chew on your necklaces, bounce your leg like a pneumatic drill, or pace back and forth while you're on the phone, you're likely trying to regulate your nervous system. For some brains, the world is a bit too quiet or a bit too loud. These physical habits provide sensory feedback that helps you stay grounded in your body. It's like a neurological fidget spinner that keeps your brain focused so it doesn't drift off into space. Now let's talk about magical thinking. This sounds a bit woo-woo, but it's actually a very common psychological shortcut. Have you ever worn lucky socks to an interview or avoided stepping on cracks in the sidewalk? This is your brain's attempt to find patterns where they don't exist. Humans are pattern-matching machines. If you wore those socks once and got a free coffee, your brain might decide there's a causal link. We'd rather believe in a weird rule than accept that the world is governed by cold, hard randomness. But what about the habits that seem totally useless, like only being able to study if you're wearing a specific old hoodie? That's often state-dependent memory. Your brain associates your internal state, how you feel, what you're wearing, even what you're smelling, with the task at hand. That weird habit is actually a cognitive trigger. You aren't just wearing a hoodie, you're telling your brain, "Hey, this is the costume we wear when it's time to be productive." You're hacking your own Pavlovian response. We also have to look at self-signaling. Sometimes we keep weird habits because they reinforce our identity. If you always buy the same obscure brand of Japanese notebook or have a very specific way of making tea, it's a way of saying to yourself, "I am a person who has standards. I'm a person with a specific taste." It's a small act of rebellion against a one-size-fits-all world. So where is the line? When does a habit become something like OCD? Generally, psychologists look at distress and interference. If your habit makes you feel better and doesn't stop you from living your life, it's just a quirk. It's your brain's unique way of coping. But if the habit starts to feel like a demand that causes panic if you can't do it, that's when it might be time to chat with a professional. But for most of us, our weird habits are just the Easter eggs of our personality. They're the little things that make us more than just biological machines. I want to hear the truth. What is your absolute weirdest habit that you usually don't tell people about? Let me know in the comments. Let's make it a safe space for the weird stuff. If you liked this deep dive into the quirks of the human mind, hit that subscribe button. Stay weird. It's the most logical thing you can do. I'll see you in the next one.